Well, the City of Coquitlam has recently agreed to a pilot project, and this is with a company called UrbanLogiq, and it's all about using information, using technology, well, to make things better. And joining me to talk about what this is actually going to look like is Herman Chandi, the COO with UrbanLogiq. Herman, thank you so much for taking some time today.
Hey, Jill, it's great to be here.
Before we get into what this is going to look like with the City of Coquitlam, what exactly does UrbanLogiq do?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jill. So UrbanLogiq works with government to help them use data to drive better outcomes in their communities, meaning safer streets, more economic opportunity for residents, accessible parks and amenities for those same residents as well. So we know governments are data rich, but they often have difficulty in accessing that data. Your typical civil servant or public servant spends a lot of time trying to access that data. So we make that job easier for city employees so that they can drive better outcomes in their communities.
And what would be an example of that where maybe it was difficult for a council or a local city to take that information or to use that information and you can come in and fix that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So think about traffic data, right? There's a lot of congestion in communities. And so, cities often install sensors at intersections tracking how many vehicles are going through this intersection. That data is often trapped in a database that's difficult for particularly a non-IT, information technology worker to access. You talk to your typical traffic engineer, they're spending days, weeks trying to get access to that data. So we bring that data into our platform. That gives, that council measures on how traffic performance is happening, what time is congestion happening during the day, and can we better time our traffic lights to drive and make traffic smoother for residents?
I understand too things like so safer streets or more functional streets that may be also things like parks and making parks more accessible. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, exactly. So all these issues are interrelated, right? So in the city of Coquitlam, who we're doing a pilot with, they're a very fast-growing community. They have 144,000 residents. They're going to be adding another 90,000 residents in the next 25 years. That's the anticipated growth of that city. So the makeup of the community is changing. Residents are moving in. That means there's more people, and those people need access to jobs. They need access to good parks. They're maybe walking around more. What if people are speeding down the road? What if residents are sending their kids to schools and there's a speeding problem or drivers are not paying attention? So what our platform allows cities to do is to bring that data picture all together so that you can build safer streets, maybe need to install protected bike lanes, or perhaps parks need better services. Maybe garbage pickup should happen more frequently so that, park garbages are not overflowing. So those are the type of examples where UrbanLogiq working in the city of Coquitlam bring better services to residents.
And how do you go about getting the information?
Cities are data rich. So surprisingly, people may not realize that this information is already sitting within city halls. So UrbanLogiq spends a lot of time working with city staff to access this information. We're talking at a technical point, you're talking about maybe Excel files, PDF files, things that residents might be familiar with. So we access this data, we do data sharing with these governments, and then just put them into our software solution so they have a complete picture of their community so they can deliver better services to residents.
And have you done this with other cities?
Yes, we've been around for 7 years now. So we started first with the city of Richmond and the city of Surrey in British Columbia. We're a local homegrown company, and our software is used by various governments in Canada and the United States.
And are you able to look at something that you've done or something that you've gone to one of those cities and said, okay, we've looked at the information. Here's the issue. Here's how you fix it. And you've seen the cities take your advice and you've seen the improvements?
Yes, and a prime example of that is the city of San Jose. So they used our software to understand the crash picture in their community. There is this initiative in North America called Vision Zero. This is the idea that you want to reduce the likelihood of deaths in crashes. You don't want residents or pedestrians or bicyclists to get killed in car crashes. So the city of San Jose used our data analytics essentially to build safer streets, to install curbside protection to install medians, to do things like left signal turn warrants, so that that created an ultimately safer road, resulting in fewer community deaths.
Hmm. And so with a 2-year pilot project then with the city of Coquitlam, is that enough to really kind of sink into it and get a clear picture and help the city make these improvements and figure out where things could improve? Or is it something that's a start and then you kind of build on it from there?
It's a fantastic start. A 2-year partnership with the city indicates that the city is very committed to seeing this work. So typically, or, a company like UrbanLogiq can come in after a few months. City staff start getting immediate insights. So we hope with the city of Coquitlam that over the next several months, even the next year, residents start seeing benefits. They start seeing, amenities that actually service the need of their community. They start seeing safer streets on the roads as well.
And do you find too that maybe you go in thinking about some of the things you mentioned, like garbage pickup or street safety or parks, and then you kind of discover other things as well. Maybe it's different parts of the city, maybe it's retail corridors, or it's things that maybe wasn't on the initial list, but you find that you're able to help improve.
Yeah, it's all interrelated as you mentioned. So a city is like an artery system. Most residents don't realize all the things that are happening behind the scenes to make that city just work day to day. So while we talk about streets and parks and businesses, that can often relate to things like economic opportunity for residents. Are the jobs in the right place? How do we attract more investments? What can the city do to make sure businesses are supported? What kind of grant funding programs can they launch to enable better economic opportunities for residents? It's all part of the same picture, and it allows for sort of that building of a better community, which is what UrbanLogiq enables.
And have you already started then with Coquitlam, or it's something that's going to be starting up soon?
Yeah, we just kicked off, Jill, literally about 2 weeks ago. So we're gung ho here to get started, and we anticipate some very exciting results soon.
Well, it sounds very, very exciting, and I'm sure residents will be interested to see the results and see what else is being done in that city. Herman, thank you so much.